Hey, it's the right weekend, and sorry today I'm having some issues with my equipment, so you're not going to see me in the video, but you're going to see what I'm sharing. So I'm going to just start out. If you're watching this, please don't forget to subscribe. If you're on Rumble, it's right here with the green, and with YouTube, I think everybody's more familiar with YouTube, so they know, you have to click the subscribe button and then click on the bell so you get notifications. With Rumble, it's a little more. You have to. There's a little more in depth that you have to do because you have to actually go and change your notification settings. Um, but with that being said, so if you could give me a subscribe on either or wherever you're watching this, and if you don't mind, if you could cross subscribe, and also you can follow me on social media. I'm on Facebook, Twitter, Gab, Telegram, and all the other ones. Once Truth comes out, I'll sign up for that too. But anyways, off to the video. Here, here's what I saw this article. COVID won't be like the flu; it would be like smoking. It was hundreds and thousands of deaths from either tobacco or the pandemic could be prevented with a single behavioral change. Here's the problem. I have a problem. It's an opinion. It's an opinion. What I had an issue was, and I couldn't find it again. So, how is it that you can have a joke meme that has a COVID fact check, but this here that's an opinion is not? There's no fact check. There was no link to the CDC or anything like that. And that's the issue I have is with the BS fact checking, with the BS that goes on in social media when it comes to this stuff, where it's like, if it's part of the approved narrative, obviously, Atlantic is a mainstream left publication, they're allowed to post this opinion as if it's a fact. You see, here it's in the health section, it's not the opinion section. That's what goes on a daily basis when you're scanning through social media, and that's what's going on. And it's annoying to any of us who just want to go through the social media. And if it's a joke meme, why the hell do I have to click on an X to go see a joke meme? I mean, sometimes there's some ridiculous. Like I remember there's like disturbing imagery, and it's like there's nothing disturbing about the imagery that you have to click the X on. So excuse me for 1 second. I just want to turn off my heater. That's the noise that you heard because started getting cold again, and I have to put the heat on down here when it gets cold. So, but anyways, but that's just what just grinds my gears, as Peter Griffin would say. But yeah, that's what just this whole nonsense of authoritative sources for fact checking and what's misinformation and disinformation. That's why I came across this here where I clicked on this fact check. A claim that COVID-19 vaccines don't stop transmission of the virus is misleading. It's not misleading. It's just that, where it says, I mean, the numbers are something where, there's a difference between vaccinated and unvaccinated people when it comes to spread of the virus. But getting the vaccine doesn't mean that it's going to prevent it 100%. That you're not going to be able to transmit it 100%. So I mean, it's just statistics. And so here's the verdict that says it's misleading, and it's like, no, it's not misleading. It's just the fact that it's a difference in opinion. Some people, I think it's somewhere between like 10 to 15% difference in transmissibility versus like 30% in unvaccinated. So I mean, there's a significant number, but it doesn't eliminate that risk to zero. And that's just the whole point of the meme or the statement that someone was making. but you still, like I said, with this opinion gets a fact check, this opinion nothing, and that's what goes on. That's what passes on social media. That's what passes as fact checking. It's just about, who's the authority that's going to tell you what's the misinformation and disinformation. So, and let's see, which way do I want to go with this next story? Which story do I want to talk about? I was talking about how the news the other day, I think it was on Monday, where I talked about that they were ignoring the Durham story. Now, instead of ignoring it, they're either, in some cases, they're downplaying it. It goes here, like Hillary Clinton said, it's just those crazy right wingers. That's what she said. Trump and Fox are desperately spinning up a fake scandal to distract from his real ones. He's not even president anymore. But, that's what she does. She spins, and the media will spin for her. And it goes here, they're not paying attention to the filing, the facts behind the filing. So they'll say, oh, there's nothing there. You hear that there's no story. There was no infiltration. But Trump wasn't even president at the time. It doesn't matter because they kept spying on him after he became president-elect. And, then the other way they'll spin it is by saying it's old news. It's not old news. The filing just happened last Friday, and here we are. It took them all week to actually, report on it, and the reporting is to try to play it off. And this is what annoys me, is that what you see the scandals of the left get pushed away like this one. Oh, it's not a big deal. It's not, it's old news. Oh no, it's just, right-wing fanatics and whatnot. But then when it's, a Trump or anything on the right, oh, it's a big story. We gotta report on it. And that's the bias, like I spoke about earlier this week, is that's the bias when it comes to the news coverage, depending on who's the scandal. If it's when the scandal is about a right-wing personality, it stays about the right-wing personality. When it's a scandal like this, that's a left-wing scandal, it's always, it's those right-wingers, it's those, Republicans pounce, Republicans react, with a fake controversy. And it's like, why don't you guys ever say that when it comes to the right-wing controversies? We know why, because of the bias of the media. And that's what passes for news in 2022. And if it's not about spinning the news, it's about causing division. If it's not spinning the news, it's causing division here, where it goes, white Latinos need to stop equating their experiences with those of Black and Indigenous Latinos. Well, you know what? That's what I talk about on my channel when I say that as a Latino, I'm not white enough for white sometimes, and I'm not Black enough for Black sometimes. Because of my fair skin, which especially now in the winter, I lose my tan, and then in the summer I tan and I get darker. So I don't, it's like with these identitarians on the left and the right, and the Blacks and the whites. I mean, I get it sometimes where on my channel I'll get people go, well, you shouldn't, it's a disgrace you're putting the American flag in the Puerto Rican flag. It's just like if, someone from Texas puts their Texas flag with the American flag. I just blended it together to show what my family came from. You have Irish American, you have St. Patty's Day coming up, where Irish people celebrate their heritage. And you have Italians and, Germans, and like, I know in Minnesota, they do a big thing with their Scandinavian backgrounds. So, everybody has their, we're all Americans, but uh, Americans all came from somewhere else. Even the founding fathers weren't, they weren't from here, they were from Europe, from Britain. And, so everybody's come from somewhere. And the beautiful thing about America has been that you come here and you give your best to this country, and we're all Americans. We're supposed to unite on the one thing that shouldn't unite us is our love for this country, but that's not what we have anymore. You have a part of this country. My wife was commenting on this because after the Super Bowl, you had, at the halftime show, you had, basically, except for like one outlier, you had like a smorgasbord of 90s rappers. And she was like, "Oh, it was a great performance," and they were saying how this is the greatest performance. So she went back and she started watching old halftime shows, and she said, she goes, "It's crazy how even in the early 2000s to even the maybe like 2010s, you still had like people embracing the American flag, embracing being American." In these halftime shows, the patriotism showed, and now you don't get that. You don't get that type of performance anymore, because the vocal left. Because I'm not going to say all leftists, I'm not going to say all liberals, but the vocal minority of them are the ones that get to dictate their America hating views. Because they want to change everything about this country, and that's what goes on. They don't, the squeaky wheel gets the grease, and when it comes to them, they're the ones that are doing all the talking. You get, the Squad and the other democratic socialist types that they don't like this country. They can't stand this country. They went to Congress to fundamentally change this country. Yeah, and that's what they want. And it doesn't care. They don't care about the Constitution. It's just a piece of paper to them. They don't, wanting to get rid of the Electoral College when it was put in place to protect small and smaller states versus bigger states, wasn't a product of slavery. We have federalism for a reason, and I think at the end of the day, the solution to our cold civil war is going to be, it's going to either be peaceful divorce, or it's going to have to be radical federalism. It's going to have to be to the point where it's like, okay, we could have some standard laws, but each state, you don't want, if California wants to be a socialist state, go right ahead, enjoy. Okay, that doesn't mean Texas needs to be, Florida needs to be a socialist state. No, you want that? Go right ahead. You do you, and that's what that would be my preference when it comes to the cold or the cultural civil war that's going on in our country. So, anyways, I'm gonna leave it there. The Right Rican. Like I said, I asked earlier if you could please like and subscribe to my videos. Either Rumble or YouTube, if you can, on both. My goal is try to be at 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. On both, it would be preferably on both YouTube and Rumble, but I'm close on Rumble right now because I would like to start doing like a once maybe like an evening live stream to interact with the subscribers, to maybe answer questions, interact, and all that stuff. That's my goal for the year. And you can interact with it, but even then, you can still interact with me in social media. Facebook, Twitter, Clout Hub, Parler, Getter, Once Truth is there. But the main one I use is Gab. I really like Gab. So if you their chat service is a little, wonky. So you can always send me a message on Twitter or something like that. But anyways, it's Friday, and I hope you guys have a great weekend.